weight class overview, and in fact, it is our final one. This one being the women's bantamweights going into 2026. We back to look at another weight class, our final weight class, or the 11th and final, thank God. And it's women's bantamweight. Great. The second worst weight class in the UFC. Only beating out heavyweight, the only weight class that's better than, women's bantamweight. Oh boy, somehow it has more fighters than flyweight, which I fucking struggle to figure out how, but it does. And we're gonna talk about all of them. Top 15, unranked, everything we've done 10 times now. Gotta do one final time, the 11th and final finale, whatever. I can't believe I've actually done this. Something that was a fucking almost just stupid idea at first turned into something I actually did. So, yeah. Many hours later, many videos later, many weight classes later, we got our 11th and final. The women's bantamweights 10 at all. Could be ending on a higher note, but we go in order to an extent. And, that's what we're gonna do. Obviously, it's the start of the show. Nothing else is here, so. Do I need a line to say this weight class is good? No, it's shit. We all know it's pretty dog shit. I do think it is getting a bit better. Yeah, it's still bad, so. Great. Not really much else to say there. I'm ready to just get this done. It's women's bantamweight. What am I really meant to say? We know it's a shitty weight class. We know, let's be honest, again, it's only not the worst weight class because heavyweight's a fucking thing. But it's not the worst. Even though, again, I do think it's getting better, it's still not strong, and, but either way, we're gonna talk about it, because somehow we've talked about much worse already, so, let's do it. Women's bantamweight, our final one. What a high note to go out on. Let's fucking do it. Last thing to say before we do is, as always, of course, please, the normal YouTube bullshit, which means, please like, comment, and subscribe to himself the goal by the end of 2026. As always, unless I'm trying to say something which I don't believe I am, this weight class sucks. Only better than heavyweight, and I'm not really thrilled to do this, only thrilled because it was the last one. I did enjoy doing the starweights and women's flyweights. Maybe I'll actually enjoy this. I have my doubts since mainly everyone in the weight class sucks. Very few decent fighters. Well, yeah, maybe we can pick out of the crowd. At least just the top 15. You ready? I know I am. Our final one. Shed a tear. Because we're talking about women's bantamweight. And yeah, this is the last one of these. I hope you've enjoyed this shit. Guess I'm on a high note as much as we can with this. As we begin with the champion that everyone is chasing at women's 135, who we're gonna see fight in a few weeks in what should be the main event of that card, but whatever. We have our final champion to talk about, the manliest of them all, the hunted at women's 135, the very big, and still don't know how she makes bantamweight, the first champion to defend their belt in 2026. Kayla Harrison. Yeah, what is there to really say about Kayla? Obviously, again, she will be the first champion to defend in 2026, which is interesting, fighting Nunez in a few weeks. Nunez, who's not in top 15, so we'll see when we talk about her. She has a chance to start off the year with a huge win. It's definitely, I still thought that fight was going to be saved for the White House, but I guess they needed it sooner, and we're getting it sooner. Kayla's very good with Nunez gone, and I think even with Nunez here, she is the best bantamweight in the division. I really started to see anyone beating her at the moment because she is just fucking gigantic. She is most skilled, striking wise, no. Wrestling wise, what I call it skill is just she's strong as fuck. Helps being a fucking guy. She's one of the few who actually plays into that joke, which isn't, she actually seems like a really nice person. I won't say anything bad about her there. And she's a good fighter. She's strong. Yeah, I think she's gonna beat Nunez, that is crazily not a hot take, but this is not the best Nunez she's fighting, and in my opinion, she should beat her. Move to 4-0 in the UFC in under 2 years. Already champion. Who knows how much longer she can actually fight at bantamweight or make the fucking weight class. Wouldn't be shocked if she's retired sooner than later. I would say maybe 3 or 4 more fights. I still say the Nunez fight should have been out like featherweight since they could have been a little less drained, but whatever. Yeah, what is there really to say about Kayla? The best in the division right now. Unless she retires, I very strongly doubt she loses the belt anytime soon. More than likely gonna be Nunez, the third best female fighter in the world, behind Weili and Val. And I guess with Weili not doing great right now, maybe she's number 2. And, yeah, not really too much to say there. She's very good. Helps being fucking gigantic. And, yeah, she's a very cool person, it seems, so I don't mind Kayla. I have no issues with her. Think she's gonna win in a few weeks against the Glow, which is insane. And, yeah, I think she's gonna rule this weight class until she gets tired of killing herself to make bantamweight. So, there you go. Not much else to say about the champion. Say whatever you want about female weight classes. They have strong champs. Weili, who's gonna be champ again, Val and Kayla. That's strong. But is bantamweight's top 15 as strong as the other weight classes? No. But we will still take a look at the 15 people chasing Kayla, or actually Kayla might be chasing them, because why would they want to fight Kayla? Beginning with someone who definitely did not want to fight Kayla, had no chance against her. The former champion, even though, let's be honest, is a fluke and she's a joke. Not much to say here. Can the fluke have her herself, the joke, whatever you want to call her, any insult you can throw towards her is warranted. The number 1 ranked, for some reason, former champion, Juliana Pena. Yeah, I don't got much to say here. She can continue living off that fluke win, very Matt Serra-esque, and yeah, she'll be remembered for the fluke win and then getting mauled by Kayla Nunez after the fact, and then beating Pennington in there somewhere in a fight that was fucking horrendous. She's a joke. Unlikely she fights again, it seems, 'cause I really struggle to see her taking a fight outside of a title fight, but that's her only option. And if she does, I think I guess Norma Dumont would make the most sense. But we'll see. If not, won't be shocked if she just doesn't fight again, so, which I'm not upset about either. I do miss watching her get beat up. Not having to watch her fight or even look at her ever again would be more than fine with me. And, yeah, she's a cunt. Pretty simple. Next, we go to the number 2 ranked, also former champion. Talked about her wife, or strawweights, who actually might be the better of the two fighter-wise, to be honest. But this part of the couple was at least a former champion, even though it's probably better to forget about that. As we have someone I forgot didn't even fight in 2025, number 2 ranked, former champ somehow, Raquel Pennington. Yeah, I completely forgot about Rocky, that she did not fight at all in 2025. I remember she had a fight booked for, I think, Norma at Noche that got canned. 37 years old, not a spring chicken, been fighting forever. Won't be shocked if she joins Tisha in probable retirement sooner than later. She's already won the belt. They both had good careers. I doubt she fights many more times. I see Raquel at most fighting maybe 2 more times. Had a good career, very good, decent fighter in the weight class forever. More of a gatekeeper than anything, but I guess she did win the belt after a while, and she'll always have that in her repertoire. She'll always fucking be a champion, former champion, when they're never gonna take that away from her. So, and she won it fair and square. So, as the underdog, no less, which I predicted. Yeah, we'll see when we see her in 2026. More than likely, if we see her again, she could just retire. And, yeah, we'll see what happens. Not really much else to say there. People still say she got robbed against Pena. I'd say, do you give a fuck enough to fucking debate that? And I do think they scored it right, even though I wanted Pennington to win, because Pena's a fucking bitch. Yeah, she's debatable score. See if she, when she bounces back, or if she can bounce back if she comes back. Or have we seen the end of Pennington's fighting in the UFC? We'll see. Not very much more to say there. Next, we have the number 3 ranked, even though she is coming off a loss, if we're being honest, but is what it is. Someone I'm a fan of, even though, again, I can also be honest and say she did not win her last fight, but I'm happy she is in top 3 and a step closer to a title shot that she's earned to an extent. The number 3 ranked dump truck having Norma Dumont. Well, I did not talk highly about Marco Twilio, but I will actually talk higher about Dumont because she's very decent. I like Dumont, always have kind of been a dark horse in this division. I will say she 100% lost that Kelly Vieira fight. Besides that, nice winning streak. Irene, Jermaine, Chandler, Hosa, etc. 35 in her own right, which is fucking shocking. But yeah, she's the freshest blood we have at the top of the rankings. We'll see if she gets the next title shot. You can make a case for it, but I think it's a much better idea to have her fight Pena. I think that'd be a fine fight to do, but we'll see. And, yeah, not really much to say. Won't be shocked if she fights the winner of Kayla Nunez. Do I think she beats either? Well, yeah, Nunez ain't gonna fight again, even if she wins or loses, or at least not gonna fight a contender who's not a giant name. For Kayla, do I think she could beat Kayla? I think she could. I think it's unlikely she would. Would be fucking hilarious if she did. And we'll see. We'll see what they do for either a title shot or a fight with Pena or Pennington. 3 options. I wouldn't be sure if it's the Pennington fight, since those two have been trying to fight for like a year now, so we'll see if they can finally run it. And if she would or win that, I think there'd be no denying her of a title shot at that point, so I would not be shocked to see Norma Dumont in a title fight by late 26 or early 27, so, or maybe even fucking, well, late 26 if they fucking just give her the next shot, so we'll fucking see what happens. Still did not beat Kelly Vieira at all, but judges went her way. One step away from title shot. Not very much else to say. Laura Sanko's favorite dump truck. I think everyone's favorite dump truck. Next, speaking of the devil who got robbed against Norma, we got the number 4 ranked, who, as much as I 100% agree she got robbed, I'm not upset about it, because I've never really been a fan of this fighter, because I've never thought she's that good. We have the number 4 ranked, coming off a robbery loss, Ketlin Vieira. Yeah, don't really have much to say about Ketlin. Again, never thought highly of her, never really thought she was that great or deserving to be high in the top fucking 15, but, you know, again, she did beat Norma. She gave Harrison her hardest fight up to this moment. She's a perfectly mid fighter. Like I said, I think it was Miranda Maverick yesterday, if the weight class was better, I don't think Ketlin would be as highly ranked as she is, but since the weight class is as weak as it is, Ketlin's a little bit higher ranked than she really would be, because she can beat some of the mid fighters who are in the fucking higher end of the top 15, because they're not that good. So, you know, Ketlin's made the most of what she has. Again, I don't think she's that great at all, but again, beat Norma, gave Kayla her hardest fight. Probably never gonna really do much more than that. Never gonna get a title shot, at least, I would highly doubt. But yeah, I think her career is gonna continue being what it is. She'll win one, lose one, etc., etc. and float around this like number 3 to like 7 range for a while. So I remember at one point she was like number 8, like a few years ago. Now she's number 4, so good for her. Again, got robbed in her last fight, and see how she bounces back after that. Very much else to say. Next. After that, we have a very surprising top 5 member to close out the top 5. Someone who made a hell of a 2025 for themselves, winning 2, or I believe 2, both as underdogs and both that I predicted. We have the newest member of the top 5 having a hell of a career renaissance, and I guess one last run to the title. We have the number 5 ranked newest member of the top 5 after a great 2025, Yana Santos. What a year Yana had. Fucking beat Misha in May as an underdog, beat Macy in October as an underdog, I predicted both. Beat Chelsea Chandler before then, 36 years old on a, 4-fight winning streak? 3-fight winning streak. Give her props. Like, she's really bounced back in her career after it's looking like it was. I remember it was the Karahosa fight. I said she should have got cut after because it was 3 losses in a row, and now she's won 3 in a row and in the goddamn top 5. So, what the fuck do I know? Yeah, will Yana continue that streak in 2026? I doubt it. I know she beat Ketlin before, but do I think she would again? Maybe. Pena wouldn't even fight her. Pennington, she might beat. Dumont, I think, would beat her. Kayla would obviously rip her in half, so... But still good for her. Really good for her to make this career renaissance late in her career after now. Like, she started her UFC career fighting Cyborg for the belt. Then went to become a very mid-fighter, dropping wins and losses. Now at 36, after a 3-fight skid, now with 1-3 in a row, and is really probably easily the fighter of the year at this weight class, so good for her. What can I really say? Again, see if she can continue the streak in 2026, and see how far she can go. Can she get one more title shot? And how can she end her career how she started it? Let's find out. Hell of a 2025. See if she can carry that momentum into 2026. Not much else to say. Oh, there's your top 5. Pretty okay. Not as strong as flyweight and bantamweight. I mean, I think strawweight was better. Like, yeah, I think like Pena's probably gonna be gone from it. Pennington's probably gonna be gone from it soon. The Ketlin will probably be there a little bit longer. Yana, we'll see. And Norma will probably be there a little while. Definitely, I think it's gonna look different in another year or 2. But for right now, that's top 5. Perfectly okay. And now let's look at number 6 through 15. Who's chasing all of them to get to the top 5 in their own title talks, etc., etc. Take a look. Beginning with another fighter who did not fight at all in 2025, even though a little bit more understandable than Pennington, because Irene's last fight. Yeah, it's probably kind of hard for her to get the motivation to get back in there. As we have at number 6, the first member of that top 5, and another member to not fight in 2025. We have Irene Aldana, a fighter I've always been a pretty big fan of. Her and Grasso have always been big fans of them. I don't know how you couldn't be. They're both really exciting, very good. Irene fought for the belt, not against Nunez, which wasn't meant to be a retirement fight, but isn't anymore. Beat Karahosa in one of the best fights 2023. Fought Norm Dumont and got one of the worst cuts on her forehead of all time. Now going into 2026 off a long layoff at 37 years old, which never would have thought that. Her and Dumont not looking their age at all, which is more than a compliment. Yeah, we'll see when we see her in 2026. Hopefully we see her. I think the cut is pretty healed by now. Like, looked like it took like half a year to heal. Like, it was literally from like her hairline to her eyebrow. It was like, fucking Christ. But yeah, it's understandable to take time off with that, and hopefully we see her in 2026 because she is still very good. Great striker. She's a lot like Alexa. She's a really good striker. Not as quick as Alexa, obviously being a little bit bigger and older would do that, but very solid striker. Grappling's never been a strong suit, but yeah, very much like Alexa. Still know what the fuck Diego teaches them down there, but I guess they're distracted. And yeah, we'll see when we see her. Sadly, did not make it on the Mexico Moreno card, it seems. But no Barrio to Mexico. Maybe she'll return on Noche. Wouldn't be shocked, or maybe International Fight Week would be cool. See how many fights she has left at 37. Probably got at least 2 or 3, I'd have to imagine. And, yeah, hopefully we see Iranian come back sometime in 2026. As much as people would like to shit on this weight class, if you want to bring out one thing I think everyone could agree was Iranian is usually in a banger. At least her last 2 fights. The Nunez fight was kind of bad, but whatever. She's usually in a fun fight. Yeah, she's one of the few fighters in this division with knockout power. Hope to see her back sooner than later. Not much else to say. Next, we move down 1 to the number 7 ranked fighter who's had a very bad 2025, taking 2 L's in the year. I think she began the year at like number 4, now down at number 7, and is about to lose another fight to add a insult to whatever the fucking phrase is, to add salt to the wound. There we go. We have the number 7 ranked MGK lookalike, and she's fucking more manly than he'll ever be, and that's more of a compliment to her than him. We have the number 7 ranked Macy Chasson. Yeah, she had a bad year, losing 2 in 2025, where she looked pretty bad in both. Caitlin dominated her. Yana, closer fight, but still lost. Beat Myra. Was actually on a nice, like, 2 or 3 fight winning streak, but yeah, she's kind of been Macy's career. Looked good at times, looked terrible at others. She still can barely make she can still barely make bantamweight. Still a big problem for her. She has potential and talent, but it seems like she's just never gonna reach that ceiling of being a decent fighter. I think there's a word where she could have fought for the belt. She is talented, but she just keeps falling short in bigger fights. And I think she's gonna fall short again in her next fight against Eileen Perez in Mexico. And I would not be shocked if they cut ties with her at that point. It would be 3 losses in a row. She's probably gonna miss weight for that fight, and if not, it would be a fucking miracle. And like, I'm happy she's staying active now, because she was super inactive for a while. But I would not be shocked if she's gone by like the middle of the year, or if she loses to Eileen, especially if she looks terrible or misses weight. So a win there would be gigantic for her, stopping the momentum of Eileen, but is she gonna do that? I struggle to see that, because even if she showed up at her best, at this point she's gotten older. She's 34, which again, is everyone in this weight class older than they want? At least a lot of people in this weight class older than they look. In their mid-30s. Yeah, Macy, I just think at her time in the sun, she had potential, been up and down in UFC, they mainly have weight issues, and now we see if she can try and save her career one more time against Eileen. If not, wouldn't be shocked if she's off in PFL or Invicta by the end of the year. And if Invicta's even still fucking running. And we'll see what happens. Not really the most else to say there. More kind of a do or die for her in a few months. See if she can get a much needed win. Speaking of who she's fighting in that fight, she needed a much needed win. The number 8 ranked, can't fucking believe that, on a 5-fight winning streak. Believe that even less. The somehow fighter with maybe the most momentum in the weight class, but between her and Yana Santos, we have the somehow number 8 ranked meme OnlyFans fighter turned into a top 10 5-fight winning streak ever, Eileen Perez. I guess she actually knows how to fight after just shaking her ass on OnlyFans. Somehow has won 5 in a row. how, I don't know. Especially looking back, Jocelyn Edwards has got much better. Carol Hosa is very good. Lesniakova has got better. How the fuck has she won 5 in a row? The youngest fighter we've talked about so far, 31 years old. If we can be honest, is she the most skilled? No. Very subpar striker, very dominant grappler. Do I think she's gonna do much more than what she's already done? No. Again, I am picking her to beat Macy, but after that, I think she's gonna hit a wall of a Dumont or a Vieta, and I think she's gonna come crashing down very badly. But who fucking knows at this point? Nothing makes sense, and somehow Eileen Perez is top 10 ranked on a winning streak and poised to probably be a top 5 fighter sooner than later. What the fuck is this weight class? Who fucking knows? After a while, you can keep making fun of her, but like Carol Hosa and Jocelyn Edwards are actually legit wins. And adding Macy to that list, another one that would be pretty solid. What can you fucking say? The rare time an OnlyFans fighter ain't a complete fucking joke. Sure, man. Eileen Perez versus Kayla Harrison. Book it. Fuck it. Who knows anymore? Book her against Dumont for research purposes. Yeah, I don't know. What am I really meant to say? Somehow she's actually decent. As much as it would be funny to laugh at her, she's actually decent. She should beat Chasson. And this division and sport make no fucking sense. Next. The best base friend made OnlyFans clearly. There you go. Let's get to the next one. Speak of the devil, who she just beat. Well, just beat a year ago. Just beat. We have the kind of, I wouldn't say dark horse, because I think we know she ain't gonna do much in this division anymore, but very, like, the Miranda Maverick of this weight class, the most perfectly mid fighter in the weight class. We have number 9 ranked, very decent, but ceiling has definitely been hit. Carol Hosa. Yeah, Hosa's fine. Again, like I said with Miranda Maverick yesterday, the most perfectly mid fighter in the weight class. Hosa's never gonna be a great top 5 fighter, but she's never gonna be terrible and leave the rankings. She's always gonna be very decent, like very in that middle range of the top 15, and at that point that's hella true. Like, she can beat Biana, she can beat Kianzad and Quanol, but then she's not gonna be able to beat Irene, Eileen, fucking Dumont, so she's fine. She's a perfectly mid fighter. She could beat most of the unranked fighters, and actually probably all of them, being honest, but even against people she hasn't fought, like, she'd beat Macy more than likely, but she'd probably lose to Catelyn, I would have to imagine. Already lost to Irene and Eileen, and Pennington might beat her. Yeah, she's a perfectly fine mid fighter in the weight class. If you want to test a fighter you're not sure about, throw in there Hosa. If they're good, they'll win. If not, they'll lose. And yeah, Hosa is a perfectly average fighter. Never gonna be one you really think about outside when she's booked. Not the most exciting, but still very talented. And again, the perfect middle of the rankings fighter in this division. Not very much else to say. Simple. Next, though, is someone I think has a very high ceiling and is the rare fighter in this weight class. I do think people should keep an eye on, because she is very good, and I think gonna make some noise in this weight class even before long. We have the number 10 ranked, I think soon to be even higher ranked than that. The very good, the really only thing worth a damn to keep an eye on in this weight class in terms of, like, the future. We have the number 10 ranked Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I think Cavalcanti is going to be one of them ones. I talked about this when she fought Myra. I think she's going to be one of them ones in this division. She's actually young for the weight class, under 30, crazy. And she's talented. She's a lot like Randami. Tall, lengthy, good kickboxer. She hasn't really seen much grappling, but I haven't needed to. I think she's, like, I can say almost confidently, I almost see her holding a belt for sure, sooner than later, because Kayla's gonna be gone by the time she gets up there. Pena and Pennington should beat. Nunez ain't gonna fight her. Dumont she'd beat Ketlin. I think she can really be one of them ones. Like, again, young, talented. She's good. She's good. She just really needs that one really good win, which she doesn't have yet. Best win, Nora Cornell, who is fine, but not really like a statement win. Very excited to see who she fights next. Hopefully a fight up in the rankings. I would love to see her against Irene. A, that'd be a phenomenal fight, and B, that'd be a really big, like, fight, prove it fight for Cavalcante. She can outstrike and beat Irene, but we'll see. Cavalcante is good. I really do think she's good, and I definitely would say she is one to keep an eye on. I don't think by the end of this year, but I won't be shocked if in 2027 or at latest 2028 she's a champ or fighting for the belt. She's good. She really looks like she's gonna be one of them ones. And between her and Mario Pinto, Portugal has some fucking potential in these in the coming years. So see how far they can go. I think Cavalcante is very good, and might bring Portugal more gold. I think they win soccer titles. We'll see if they can get an MMA title. Cavalcante, name to keep an eye on in this division. I cannot say close to confidently, I think she's going to be a champion. Or at worst, fight for the belt. Next, speaking of fighting for the belt, who Cavalcante just fought, someone who I don't think is going to fight again in the UFC, or be on the roster by the end of 2026, someone who probably should be cut and probably will be soon, the former title challenger who at one point, fucking a year and a half ago, was fighting for the belt and now has lost like 5 in a row. We have the number 11 ranked Mayra Bueno Silva. Yeah, remember she was like the hot shit in the division, favorite to beat fucking Pennington for the belt, and then has lost ever since. Lost to Pennington, lost to Chasson, Jazavicius, and Cavalcante, looking pretty terrible in every one of those fights. And yeah, I think she needs to get released. Could they give her one more fight? Sure. Do I see a point of it? No. Because again, she's lost 4 in a row, looked pathetic, not that exciting, and like, what do you really get out of it at this point? Like, we already know she's not gonna do anything. She had a nice little run, and it's over. People have figured out how to beat her. She's a shitty striker, and she has no cardio. If she can't get you down and beat you early, she's not gonna beat you. So would not be shocked if she gets cut sooner than later. Again, probably should be already, but I guess they're sitting on their fucking hands waiting, and yeah, I would really struggle to see Myra fighting again in the UFC, and if she did, then I would even more struggle to see her still being on the roster by the end of 2026. Probably cut by the end of the year, if not even sooner than later. Maybe they give her one more chance to prove if she still has anything left. Do I see the point in it? No, but a division that's shallow, I guess you can try the idea if you want. I don't get the point, but whatever. I think it's better cut your losses and let her walk, but we'll see. Either way, I think she'll either lose again or just get cut, and probably the last time we really hear of Shita. Gonna go down in fucking history as a fighter who had a fluke run and fought for the belt and then didn't, fell off. Crazy. Next, we go to number 12. Yeah, I guess one of the more, I can't say promising because we've seen her ceiling at this point, but I guess one of the young, I think she's young, one of the newer fighters in the division. Still, it's debatable if she deserves to be ranked, but whatever. We have the number 12 ranked French woman, one of the only likable French fighters, and even one of the only decent looking ones compared to Manon. We have the number 12, Nora Cornol. Yeah, we've seen the best of Nora at this point. God, she's 36. Could fool me. Yeah, not the greatest record in UFC. What is she in UFC? 3-2. Yeah, has been able to beat Mullins and Cowan, Edwards, who she's rematching for some reason. Lost to Cavalcanti and Rosa, so she's losing to better fighters. But to be honest, I don't think Nora's the most skilled. Fine striker, awful grappling. Yeah, I don't think she's top 15 level, to be honest. And again, for some reason, she's rematching Jocelyn Edwards in a few months. No fucking idea why. Won't be shocked if she doesn't win that. She barely won the first fight, to be honest, so... I like Nora, but I can be honest, she's not that fucking good. Fine striker, and that's about it. Not much to say. I don't think top 15 level at all. But in a shallow division, I guess, sure, why not? She is perfectly below average, and we'll see if she can make it 2-0 against Edwards. If not, that'd be a really bad loss for Nora, and see where she goes from there. Not really much else to say there. Next. Oh god, she's still fucking here. I forgot this old bitch was still here. The number 13 ranked grandma, who is, again, still here, shockingly, even though I don't fucking know why. And number 13 ranked, no one could remember that she's still here, and no one knows why. Grandma herself, Misha Tate. She's still fucking here. She's like 50. She's 39, close enough. Since coming back during the pandemic, she has went 2-3, only beating Renault and Julia Avila, losing to everyone halfway competent she's fought. Yeah, she should have stayed retired. This comeback run, I can't say ruins her legacy, because what fucking legacy does Misha Tate have? Get her nudes leaking and getting beat up by Ronda Rousey a few times, and main eventing UFC 200. Great three-peat of legacies. Something the only thing people really care about you for, losing to Rousey, and then a main event you lost. Good shit. Very good leaks though. Yeah, she needs to fucking retire already. I think she should be put on the Seattle card. I think that'd make a lot of sense. Perfect retirement fight for her. She either from or trained out of Seattle, one or the other, I'm pretty sure. So, book that. Why fucking not? Let her fucking retire again. And we should now be talking about Misha Tate in 2026. Not much else to say. Fucking Holly left to go do other shit before her. Come on now. Next, we almost close out the top 15 with our second last member of it. In Space the Devil, who's rematching Cornell in a little bit. We have the number 14 ranked, somehow on a knockout streak. Fuck if I know how. The number 14 ranked, somehow winning fights by knockout now. The best Edwards in the UFC, Jocelyn Edwards. Well, she's much better than Leon ever was. Somehow she's won 3 fights by finish, 2 by knockout back to back. Fuck if I understand how, but sure. Yeah, went from looking like a pretty much joke of a fighter, mainly only getting wins by robbery, to now having 3 finishes in a row and probably beating Cornell to make it 4 in a row. I don't fucking get it. Somehow the 3 fighters with the most momentum going into 2026 in this division are Yana Santos, Eileen Perez, and Jocelyn Edwards. Sure. Yeah, somehow she's getting knockouts now. I guess Irene ain't the only one in the division who actually knows how to throw a goddamn punch with power. And, yeah. What the fuck am I really meant to say? Again, more than likely she beats Cornell in February, but we'll see. That'd be a really big one for her to get close to top 10. And at this rate, I guess she's gonna be top 10 by sometime in 2026. Let that sink in. I don't fucking know what this sport is anymore. Still way better than Leon ever was or could be. And, yeah, keep getting finishes, and what else am I really going to say? Next. And then we close out the top 15 with our final top 15 fighter to talk about in any of these videos. We ended with a former flyweight turned bantamweight who's now ranked, debatably should not be ranked, but whatever. We have our final ranked fighter we'll talk about. And before we do this again next year, we have the number 15 ranked Luana Santos. Failed at flyweight? Fucking ranked at bantamweight, sure. Yeah, flyweight run went alright, got a couple wins, ran into Casey O'Neill, didn't go good after that, and then moved up to bantamweight, got 2 wins against Lisboa and Croden, and is now in top 15. Pretty young, 25 years old. She's very popular, never could guess why. Do I think she's that good? No, truly not. Do I think she would really stand a chance against most of the ranked fighters? No. I'd pick Edwards, I'd pick Hossa easily, I'd pick maybe Cornell, maybe that's a reach, Cavalcanti for easily. She'd probably beat Misha and Myra, but outside of that, yeah, she's not that fucking good, to be honest. She's hot and a very subpar fighter. So, not really too much more I can say there. Don't know what the fuck was wrong for her knee in that Croden fight, but is what it is. That was still weird. That's the only thing I remember from that fight, to be honest. And, yeah, number 15 right now. Let's see what she does in 2026, if she can hold on to that top 15 ranking. 2-0 in the division. See what she can do. There you go. Now pretty weak note to end our rankings on, but there you go. And that's our final top 15. Is it great? No. There's like some okay fighters in it. Again, Jocelyn is actually decent now. Cavalcanti's great. Carhosa's good. Eileen's on a roll. Irene is still there. Yana's on a roll. Norma is there. Raquel is still there. Kayla. It's fine. It's a very, it's not good, but, I've seen worse. Again, still better than heavyweight. And, yeah, for the easiest top 15 to get into, it's fine to have a few gems in there. Better than I expected. And, see what happens in 2026. So, but that's not all, of course. Now we do the second half of the weight class, the fighters who are chasing to get in top 15. So shall we do that? I say we shall. So let's do it. I think there's 16 fighters are in that ballpark, around that number. So let's talk about it. Let's not count them. Let's talk about them. The last set of unranked fighters. I'm almost gonna cry. Let's do it. Who's unranked at women's bantamweight? Actually, more fighters in this category than I thought. Let's talk about them. Beginning with not Rivena, because she is now a strawweight, but beginning with a former flyweight. Yeah, there's a lot of those actually. Oh no. Well, yeah, I thought Carolina was for no. Still a former flyweight, but not the one I was thinking of. The cheater herself, I'll give her. She does sometimes have fun fights. We begin with on a very meh note to begin the honor ranks of the women's bantamweights, being with the zombie cheater herself, Pasquilla Cachoeira. Yeah, not the strongest note to end on, or to begin on. A fighter who is entertaining and not good. Then Josie Nunez knockout in last year was good. And got knocked out by Jocelyn Edwards because she thought she could just eat punches like they were nothing. 1-1 since moving up to bantamweight. Flyweight was always a problem for her. So now up at bantamweight, 1-1 fighting Saigula, a fight she probably should win, but who knows with her. Yeah, still will never respect her for trying to gouge out Julian's eyes while getting submitted. But I will say she usually, if she's fighting, it's gonna be a fun fight. Either she's gonna just walk him down, or she's gonna somehow get her ass, or not somehow, she's just gonna get her ass beat and lose, which is very enjoyable to watch always. So, yeah, still say she should have been cut after the Julian bullshit, but whatever, turned into about what she always was, a very subpar, entertaining fighter. Don't know who the fuck sanctioned her fighting Valentina, but sure. And, yeah, not very much to say for the zombie cheater. I don't respect much. She's entertaining. About it. Next. Yeah, I really think about it. Women's bantamweight is a lot like fucking heavyweight, where it's always where fighters move to, like the most consistent rate of fighters moving up to it. As I know next, we have another one, a former flyweight turned bantamweight. We have another fighter who sucked at flyweight, and actually had a little bit of success at bantamweight, even though they're coming off her first L in the division. They somehow got ranked in the division at one point. The dreadfully bad at flyweight and a little better at bantamweight, Luana Carolina. Well, it's actually impressive that we started off the first two unranked fighters, or two fighters I don't like. Cachoeira, because she's a cheater, and Carolina, because I never thought she was good at all. Coming off her first loss in a while after going on a 3-fight winning streak. One of them at bantamweight, the other two at flyweight. Never really remember her having big issues at flyweight, but I guess she did. Moved up to bantamweight, beat Pudilova, and then lost to Montagu, where she looked okay, but again, same problems she's always had. Showed up, she's not fucking good. But at bantamweight, she probably is like a top 20 fighter in the division, which says everything you need to know. Yeah, I don't think she's good at all. Better at bantamweight than she was at flyweight, because you need less talent to be at bantamweight, and well, that perfect for Carolina. Not a good fighter. Her career highlight will be Molly McCann knocking her out and Lipsky ripping her knee in half. Aside of that, not much to say. Yeah, just kind of just sucks. Just now a little bit heavier. Sweet. Next, do we go 3 in a row of people I don't like? No, actually, we go to someone I actually was a fan of at one point, and then she started turning sucking. She became a complete fucking tomato can. As next we have the first American, after two Brazilians in these unranked categories. We have no relations to the other Chandler, even though she's probably as good as he is at this point. We have Chelsea Chandler. Yeah, again, Chandler's actually someone I did like at one point. I really thought she was going to be a decent prospect. And then she did what she did against Dumont, turning herself into a legendary meme. Beat Josie Nunez, called that out when she was the underdog. And then has looked pathetic in her last two fights, missing weight 2 fights in a row, losing to Yana, and after talking shit and getting embarrassed, and then knocked out by Jocelyn Edwards. Yeah, she's not good. She has no fucking chin at all. She's fucking huge, but again, Chloe can't make bantamweight consistently. Yeah, she plays this, like, tough girl, tough guy, whatever, gimmick from Stockton. Not the Diaz brother, not related to Michael Chandler. Again, you know, she's probably better than Chandler somehow. She's not that good. She, again, can't take a punch. Probably gonna be cut in 2026 after another loss. And, yeah, cool experiment. It was smart to sign a undefeated, or close to undefeated bantamweight at, 5-1. You need anyone you can get with worth a shot, but she's just not that fucking good. And, yeah, unlikely that she bounces back in 2026. More than likely takes another L and then gets sent out of here. So, not really much else to say. Next. Who do we follow that up with? Oh, fucking god, I didn't think we can get worse, but somehow I forgot we do have the worst fighter in the division up next. You know, actually, the UFC is smart around the two worst fighters in the division fight each other. We'll talk about the other one later. But we begin with the maybe worst fighter in the division, one of the most head-scratching signings of all time in Contender Series history. The probably worst women's bantamweight fighter, which is a fucking accomplishment at the moment. Haley Cowan. Again, one of the most head-scratching signings of all time. Didn't even look that good on Contender Series. Got signed anyway, if you want to say, because she's hot. She's not. And then doesn't debut for a while, misses weight, and loses to a debutante, then takes another 2 years off, loses again, and is now fighting in April, as of right now, until that fight gets canned like we know it's going to be. And, yeah, gonna probably lose that fight and get cut. She is fucking terrible. Lost to Victoria Leonardo, Jesus Christ. If she actually makes it to that Eileen Pereira fight, which is unlikely, she's gonna lose, and if she pulls out like she always does, it's just gonna be the norm. So, yeah, she's fucking garbage. Not really much else to say there. If you want to say she got signed because she's hot, I don't even. Most of the time I'll be like, okay, fine. It doesn't work here. And, yeah, not being hot and being a garbage fighter, that's the double whammy of all double whammies in the UFC. So, yeah, that's all I can say. She fucking sucks. Stop pulling out of goddamn fights. Just take your loss and get cut. Next. After that, well, we actually follow that up with a good fighter, and a fighter that I'm actually a big fan of. She doesn't fucking fight anymore. We have someone who I think could be a legit prospect if she ever actually fought, and I can't talk about her with the bantamweights because she last fought at bantamweight, so I'm gonna assume she's a bantamweight. We have the very good, if not forgotten because she never fights, Melissa Gatto. Man, I like Gatto. I remember her fucking, run. Her debut against Leonardo, big underdog, looked good. Fucking knocked out, well, TKO'd, Eubanks. No, not the boxer. Beat Carol Hossa back in 2018. She got signed and then didn't make her debut for years. But really, after that Eubanks fight, that sounds weird saying, she kind of just started to fall off mid, lost to Cortez, which was not a good look, looked very piss poor against Ariane Lipski, did get a nice win against Vidal in the weirdest way possible by punching her in the tit to win, and, yeah, no news on her since May of 2024. It's probably gonna hit 2 years since she last fought before she gets a fight booked, or at least till she fights again, and it's a shame, because I really think Gatto's good. She just doesn't fight. At women's bantamweight, I think she could easily be top 15. I thought she had that ceiling at flyweight. Maybe I was wrong, but I don't think at bantamweight I'm wrong, because I know she is talented. She's still young, which is good. 29 years old. If she comes back in 2026, I could easily see her being ranked. I think she's way better than Luana Santos, Nora Knoll. And I hope she fucking shows back up again sooner than later. If not, it's kind of just be a shame that someone who I think actually had a decent amount of potential is just kind of sitting on the bench not doing anything. So, not even a fight booked in over 2 years. It's weird. And, hopefully she fights again. Again, because I truly think she stayed at bantamweight, active at bantamweight, I think she could easily be top 15. Let's see if my theory is proven right in 2026, if she even fights. If not, if she doesn't have a fight booked in all of 2026, I think the UFC would have no other choice but to cut her, which is a shame, but what are they meant to do, so not very much else to say. Hopefully she comes back sooner than later. Next, from the opposite, from someone who I think has potential to someone who, yeah, doesn't, because they're not fucking good. We have next another fighter who will probably be cut sooner than later, because, not good. We have Tianara Lisboa. Yeah, her run began better than it went. Began on a 2-fight winning streak, beating Jessica Rose Clark and Ravenna, and then losing 2 in a row to Luana and Croden. Yeah, Lisboa just sucks, to be honest. Not the most active, not very good. Her 2 wins were against tomato cans, just call spade a spade. And when she fought decent competition, she looked horrendous. So, yeah, she'll probably fight sometime 2026, lose again and get cut. And won't be shocked. Just not very good. Not the worst in the division. Still better than Cowan and Pereira, but probably closer to being the 3rd worst fighter in the division. Not very good. Not very much else to say. 99% chances off the roster by the start of next year if she fights again. And, yeah, not very much else to say. Next, we go to one of the few debutantes from last year, and one that was actually pretty decent. Someone who the UFC is hoping works out. Her and another one we'll talk about in a little bit. We'll go with the one who debuted first. We have the 2 undefeated debutantes they signed last year, who both looked very decent, beginning with Michelle Montague. Yeah, Michelle's decent. Looked decent that debut against Carolina. Not as good as the other debutante, but I think Bia fought a much easier opponent, so take it as you will. Michelle looked fine. Kayla Harrison teammate. Striking, don't remember being the best. Very decent grappler though. Australian or New Zealand, whatever. Do I see her having a high ceiling? No. I think her ceiling is about same as Nora Knoll's, like top 15, but no higher than like 11 or 12. She's fine. Very decent fighter. They needed some more Aussie / New Zealand females, because when Megan Anderson is gone, Jessica Rose Clark is gone. Like all they had was like Casey, who never fights, and was there another one? I don't remember. So good signing there. And yeah, we'll see what happens with Michelle, how far she can go. 32 years old. Again, Kayla Harrison training partners, who's training with good fighters. And yeah, we'll see how far she can go. Undefeated, looked fine. Not much else to say. Excited to see more of Michelle. Sadly did not make it on that Volca card, but that will go back to Australia in, I think, September. They always do, so we'll probably see her there, hopefully before then, of course. Not much else to say. Next, a fighter who's been up and, actually not has been up and down in the UFC, literally and figuratively, I guess, with wins and losses rotating at a high degree. We have someone who at one point was a prospect, now is just a cam in the division. We have Melissa Mullins. Yeah, Mullins has had one weird UFC career. Debuted against Al-Kashiva, who looked good. Then Nora Knoll beats her. Then she beats Sagula. Then Lesniakova beats her pretty easily. One fight she looks good, next fight she looks terrible. Has missed weight twice. Haven't got to fight in England yet. Maybe this is the year for that. They'd probably boo her because she fucking stinks. Yeah, not much to say about Melissa. Again, I'm very much on the lower end of talent in the division. Like, I'll 100% say I think Juana Carolina's better. I'd probably pick Carolina to beat her. Mullins is just not that good. She showed flashes, but I also gotta factor in against who she showed those flashes against, like Gula and Alexeva. So, we're getting dominated by Lesniakova and fucking Cornell. It's understandable, but it's like she just does not seem that fucking good. And yeah, I don't really see much out of Mullins outside of continuing what she is doing. That's trading wins and losses, beating shittier fighters, losing to halfway decent ones. Not really much else to say. Not a very good fighter at all, and yeah, good enough to beat shittier fighters like she'd beat Cowan, Pereira, and Lisboa, but outside of them, I think she would again lose to like, she would lose to Carolina, she'd beat Chandler, Cachoeira would be a definitely 50-50, and yeah, Montagu and Gatto would beat her easily, so yeah, not very good. Never gonna really do much in the UFC, and but they have a British female. They really don't have any. Her and like Kendi Freeman. They're the only two. Oh, and Snow Dyer. Well, hopefully Kendi Freeman is good because I know Mullins and Dyer suck. There you go. Next, well, we were gonna talk about Nunez eventually. Just this is not the one I meant. And next we have someone who I'm not going to waste much time on because I don't think she's fighting in the UFC again. I think more than likely she's going to be cut before she fights again. More than likely we have the other Nunez in the division, not the one you're thinking of. We'll talk about her later. We have Josiane Nunez. I say this a lot. Remember when she was the hot shit in the division? Had 3 fights in a row, cool knockout, good wins, and then Chandler beat her, Cavalcanti beat her, Cachoeira put her out, and haven't fought since April or March. I mean, yeah, I think they should cut her. I really don't see a point of giving her another fight. 3 in a row is 3 in a row, and let's be honest, she's just not fucking good. The only way I'd give her another fight is if she were to move down to flyweight, which I think she easily could at 5'2". So, if she was going to move down to flyweight, fine. If you don't want to cut her yet, give her one more fight there. Outside of that, just cut her. She fucking sucks. And, not really much else to say. Next. Can't believe she got added to the goddamn UFC games before so many months of serving people. Power of that last name. Crazy. Speaking of power of the last name, God, that's kind of a perfect segue to our next entrant. The second worst fighter in the fucking division and maybe on the roster in general. The pathetic excuse for a hype train that they tried to build just for her to be fucking horrendous. The youngest female fighter of all time, who makes Raul Rosas look like goddamn Rob. We have Alice Pereira. No, not related to that Pereira. And apparently he's busy having his own dating show more than fighting. But for her, Alice, what the fuck did they sign her for outside of the whole she's the youngest storyline? She has 2 flagged fights on her record, never fought anyone good. Bring her in, and she looks fucking pathetic against Montserrat Rendon, who is okay, but fucking Jesus Christ. Now you're making sure she wins her next fight by feeding her Haley Cowan, and it's like, like what the fuck's the point? What a fucking... She should have either A, been on Contender Series, B, been on Tough, or C, given her like 5 more years of developing on a regional scene. And she would have sucked at all 3, but Jesus Christ. Why is she here outside of being young? Fucking stupid. I don't fucking know. She's gonna beat Cowan, but that'll like literally be the only fighter actually on the roster she can beat. She's fucking awful. Next. Speaking of the devil who beat her, let's take a look at the old Mexican who fucking styled on her back at Noche. We have probably the female in the division the UFC hates the most right now after that Pereira fight. The old lady herself, who I guess still got it, Montserrat Rendon. I'm happy Rendon got her moment against Pereira at Noche. That was cool. It's gonna fucking end against Bia in a few months, but you know, take what you can get. 36 years old, was a very late signee. debuting in 2023 with a win, lost to Lesniakova, and then she took a year and a half off. So, you know, great. But after that year and a half off, she came back and looked good, and now they're feeding her to be probably a fucking punishment. Would it be fucking hilarious if she won? Yes. Is she going to? No. Well, more than likely no. But, yeah, happy she got her moment. Now she's gonna get fucking tapped out by Bia, and feel bad for her in that regard, but gotta get punished for winning a fight. Look at Highline Barcelos. That's Highline Barcelos about that. Yeah, happy Rendon got her moment. Beating the shit out of Piera, and, now you get punished for having to get fed to Bia. Not really much else to say there. Next. I think I can just do this. Yeah, I don't have many more. As we enter our last 5 that we'll talk about ever until, well, next year we do this. Or, last, 5. I thought I skipped one, but nope. And we move on to probably the worst of the last 5. Yeah, that says a lot, actually. As next we have the Polish, with Karolina Kowalkiewicz about to retire. I guess they need a Polish woman on the roster as backup. We have the only here for obvious reasons fighter, Claudia Saigula. Yeah, Saigula kinda sucks. Again, I think we know why she's here. She's halfway decent looking. 1-1 UFC, looked embarrassing against Mullins, and then fucking styled on Arena Alkashiva. Now should probably lose to Cachoeira, but we'll see. She did bare knuckle fighting. I'll give her respect. She's not scared to get her face beat up at least. Yeah, she's not good. One of the weaker in the division. I'd say the 4th worst fighter in the division. Probably, unless I'm forgetting someone. I'm not counting Josie Nunez. Yeah, I'd say probably the 4th worst. Better than Lisboa, but then I'd even take Melissa Mullins. Well, literally, she beat her, so yeah, I'd take Melissa Mullins over her. Not very good. Probably gonna be like a 1-3 fighter and gone, or something along those lines. I wouldn't be shocked. And, at least they still have a Polish fighter on the roster when Karolina retires. Only fucking reason I can think that she's signed. That's, well, that'd be obvious. Not very much else to say. There you go. Next. Oh, okay, someone who's kind of been forgotten in this division. You know, she's coming off a really nice win and was ranked at one point, but, you know, not active. And next you have someone who's probably one of the better unranked fighters in the division. I'd say top 20 for sure. Even though she's definitely not looked great, looking better. We have Daya Lesniakova. Trust me, that last name is a lot easier to say than it looks. Yeah, Lesniakova. I remember she was ranked at one point, like I said, and she did have, I wouldn't say hype, but she was like, okay, maybe she'll become something. So far, not really. Beat Rendon in a weak performance. Got schooled by Perez, and then beat Mullins in a good performance. Hasn't fought since. We'll see when we see her again in 2026. Again, I'd say top 20 in the division. Not as good as a few, but I would say like 19 or 8. Yeah, probably the 19th best of the in the division. She's perfectly fine. She'd beat most of the fighters we've talked about in the unranked category, and yeah, she's not great by any means, but she's perfectly okay, and yeah, not much to say. Only lost to Eileen Perez at that GH3. Getting finished was kind of, but you know, the rest is fine, and yeah, not really much else to say. See when we see her again. One of the better unranked fighters. Pretty simple. Not much else to add. Next, we get to the final 3, beginning with someone who we just saw lose very recently, but we'll see if she can bounce back, even though it looks like she isn't that good, to be honest. We have, where is she? There she is. we have the 1-1 and only been on the roster for a few months, so that's impressive that she's already been that active. The Canadian, not to the level of Joanne Robertson or even Jasmine Jasvicious. We have Melissa Croden. I believe the last female to lose a fight in 2025, so that's not a great stat to have, but also one of the few who actually got a finish. Debut against Lisboa in October, looked fine. Fought Luana in December on short notice, didn't look too great. Fought Cavalcanti, no shocker, she lost that fight. 34 years old, not a great fighter by really any means. Again, pretty mid-tier, about on the level of Melissa Mullins and a few others. Nothing special, not gonna do much in the division or make a lot of noise. Can beat shittier fighters, not gonna be able to beat the better echelon, not on, like, again, I would take Wozniakova and Carolina to beat her pretty soundly. Yeah, don't think she's that good, like, very mid, not a can by any means, like a few others in the division, but, yeah, not really anything outside of, like, yeah, she's there. Yeah, is she fighting a can? Oh yeah, she'll win. Is she fighting someone decent? Yeah, that's a no. Pretty simple, not much to say. There you go. Next. And then there were two. As we begin our second to last one, being maybe the best prospect in the division. One of the more intriguing ones, and maybe the best unranked fighter at the moment. After one fight, at least who the UFC is hoping is all of that and more. Someone they're going to really push to the moon if she looks good in her next fight against Rendon. We have the very promising, I would say, Bia Mesquita. The other undefeated fighter who debuted in this weight class not long after Montagu and looked very good. Looked a little bit better than Michelle, mainly because she fought Irina Alkasheva. Looked really decent there. Very, like, fucking experienced grappler, been doing it forever. Kind of old, 34 years old, but it's one's bantamweight, who gives a shit. Getting Rendon, which is probably a win. I thought they were going to boost her up in the top 15 already. I thought, like, Cornell would have been a perfect fight, but guess not. Getting another win against Rendon, getting a little bit more experience is a fine call. And, yeah, well, I think she'll definitely be ranked sometime, or by the end of 2026. Will she also be frauded in that time? Maybe. Wouldn't be shocked. Do I think she's gonna be a champ or anything? No. I think her ceiling's like top 10. Like, is she not just like a little bit better Eileen Perez? Like, probably about the same amount of striking and a better grappler. Though, yeah, that sounds like a number 7 or 6 ranked fighter in a division that's pretty weak, but I don't see her beating Norma or Ketlin or Kayla, of course. And, yeah, she's fine, but I think her ceiling is like top 10, which is a pretty decent fucking ceiling, and the UFC is hoping for more than that, but we'll see. Not very much else to say. Probably the most promising unranked fighter, and yeah, well, the UFC at least wants you to believe that. See if she is. Not very much else to say. And then, yeah, even though I don't think she's on this page, but then there was one left who we of course have to talk about, because she is back in the weight class, even if it's for one fight, and it's a fight that's coming up in a few weeks. We still gotta talk about her, the last name, and what a great way to end by getting to talk about the GOAT as our final fighter as part of this series for this year. We end with our final fighter, the greatest female fighter of all time, Hall of Famer, top 6 fighter of all time, the one, the only, Amanda Nunes. What a great way to end this series of videos, talking about the GOAT as our final fighter. Can you end on a better note? I don't think so. Because she is back, even if I do think it's going to be for one fight, because she's going to lose. She's back, fighting again for the first time in almost 3 years after retirement, and raising a kid, 37 years old, fighting Kayla Harrison. Like, of course, I don't need to tell you about Nunez's legacy. That speaks for itself. It's more about the Harrison fight, which of course I'll talk about very soon. But do I think that's a good? I've been saying since this idea came up that I think the Harrison return fight's fucking stupid for Nunez. But if the pay is that nice and you don't mind a hit to your legacy, sure, why not? Do I think she could win? I guess, but I think it's unlikely. I think it's going to go really bad for her and be a little bit of a knock on her legacy, even though she would need to do a lot more than one loss to Kayla to really hurt her legacy fully. But, yeah, I just think it's a kind of sad that she is doing this, because unless she actually thinks she's going to win, which I'm guessing she does, but I don't know why. If she's really just coming back for the fucking giant paycheck she's getting, cool, but it's like, really? And then what if she wins? Let's just hypothetically say she wins. She's not gonna stay around. What's she gonna fucking do? Fight Val again for no reason? Just retire and leave the belt up to fucking, what, Dumont and Pena to fight for or some shit? It's like, I don't know. Again, I just think it's a bad idea in every sense of the word. And, I think she's just going to tarnish a very good retirement that she had with ending it on a loss that she didn't need. But in the same breath, I'll say if anyone could come back after 3 years and beat Kayla Harrison, it's the quote. See if she can. She beat Cyborg. She beat everyone else. Can she do the impossible one more time? If anyone could, it's the quote. And there you go. That's everyone. I've officially talked about every fighter as I know of on the roster going into 2025. Let me make sure I didn't skip over anyone, which I don't think I did. Irina got cut, and I think that'd be now anyone who would be on here that shouldn't be. Let me check this one more time. Yeah, Ravenna's the fucking strawweight, so there you go, that's everyone. Crazy to go over the few normal things we always say at the end of these, beginning with who are my favorite fighters going into the new year in this weight class. I like Kayla, she's hard not to like. Of course, Nunez is Nunez. Dumont is cool. Jocelyn Edwards is weirdly growing on me. Irene, Cavalcanti, Gatto, if she ever fights again. Yeah, a few names there. Who are my most hated or hate watch? Of course, Pena, because she's a fucking bitch. That I really don't hate anyone. Like, I don't mind seeing Misha Tate lose. It's always funny. Besides that, I really don't dislike anyone here. I don't like these two clowns, but whatever. Who are the prospects to keep an eye on in the weight class? There's not many. Mainly Bia and Montague. Aside of that, like, is Lesniakova a prospect? Debatable. Who else? Croden, no. Gatto doesn't fight at the moment. So I would say Montague and Bia, who I can almost, I'm not guaranteed, but I'm probably very certain that those two will be ranked. At the same time, sometime in 2026, it just kind of feels like that's what's going to happen, so those seem like two really good signings to the weight class, so see if they play out. And on the other side of the coin, who I think is going to get cut in 2026, I think Cowan for sure after that loss, Nunez with a win or a loss, or another fight with a loss, or without another fight or another loss, there we go. Lisboa, Myra Bueno, Chandler, not that one, but I wish as well. Kinda gotta say Gatto if she doesn't fight. Misha Tate's gonna retire, maybe. Hopefully Nunez will be back and gone as quick as we know it. Pena and Pennington have high chances of being gone by the end of the year, so yeah, I think the weight class could really change over the next year, but we'll see. And then second to last, what fights am I most looking forward to in New Year? Not many, because there's not many. I'm intrigued, and Harrison Nunez was not one where I'm like, oh boy, can't wait. Perez Chassan's okay. Always gotta see Cavalcanti fight. Irene's return would be cool. Edwards is actually interesting to see if she can get another finish. Gatto, if she returns, like I said. Bia and Red Dawn's intriguing. See if Bia is really that damn good. Michelle fighting again's gonna be cool. So, not to this fight. So, there you go. And then finally, for the last did for the other 10 champions, gotta ask you for the last one. Will Kayla be champion by the end of the year? More than likely, again, unless Nunez either A, pull off the upset of the fucking century, or B, Kayla retires or vacates, I don't see her losing that belt to anyone in the weight class. Like, if Nunez doesn't beat her, I don't see Dumont beating her. I don't see what fucking... I don't even know who else would fight her, so... I think more than likely Kayla's year is going to look like fighting Nunez in January, winning, and maybe in November, December fighting like Dumont or some bullshit, and that would be a win as well. So, yeah, I think that's very likely. I shall probably be champ still by year's end, and yeah, until she retires at this point, it would seem. So, there you go. And there you go is a perfect way to end it. There you go. That is every top 15 talked about, every weight class talked about, every fighter talked about, done, dusted, and everything. I was saying, I can't believe I really did it. 11 videos in a row. How many fighters talked about, or borderline? 641, we'll say, borderline 600 talked about. That's insane, but I did it. I wanted to do it. I like doing it. I enjoy doing it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Did it for y'all. Fun way to kill some time until fights. And I think a very interesting idea to get a real grasp of the weight classes going into 2026. So I hope you enjoyed. I know I enjoyed doing it. And on a little bit of a high note, why not I rank the 11 weight classes from the ones that are the best going into the year to the worst. So I'll say from best to worst: welterweight, lightweight, bantamweight, featherweight. Then I would say maybe women's flyweight, strawweight, men's flyweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, women's bantamweight, and heavyweight. So that's how I would rank it. Yeah, tell me if y'all agree with those rankings or not. I think most people would agree with most of them. The hardest ones are really lightweight or welterweight, so you tell me, and hope you enjoyed. So there we go, all 11 done. I'm gonna make another video for a fucking week. Next video to be dropped will be the 23rd for the 324 breakdown. So that'll be cool. Obviously, I'll still be live Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week. And then shorts, I'll have some out over time, like always. There you go. So, I'm done talking about weight classes and top 15 for hopefully until this time next year. We'll do this again next year, and I think these will be really interesting videos to go back on and look at. Who were the prospects, who were the cans, who did I say would get cut, who did I think was going to do this, blah 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 blah. That's the main reason I did this, because I really like doing these things that are good in the moment, and then even better look back on to see, oh wow, he was really wrong there, and there. So I would love to watch the YouTube videos in like 5 years to see how wrong I was on everything. And maybe I will. Hopefully you will as well. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. So there you go. I'll make a whole playlist section for all of them in order. And hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed doing it. The shit I do for y'all. And I love y'all. Hope you enjoyed it. Happy to hopefully give you something to listen to MMA wise while there's no fights for another while, and there you go. So, That being said, as always, I say, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, turn subscribe by the end of 2026. And as always, unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I don't believe I am, of all 11 weight classes and 600-ish fighters done, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you, video-wise, when it's time to break down the first fights of 2026. See you then. But for now, I say, as always, RX out. Good vibes only.